Hello and welcome. Good morning. It's 7:30. It is the 12th day of November of the year 2021. It is a surprisingly warm November morning at 60 degrees, but look for temperatures to rise up into the 80s here in Ventura County. On the other hand, Central California and Northern California are being hit with yet another atmospheric river. So, what can you say? Weather, Christmas. I am the voice in the wilderness, your guide to all tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, controversy, speculation, and general internet nonsense. The OGGM wishing you a happy Disney Plus Friday. We have some quarterly report numbers where we take a look at all the sales and online role-playing games being played as according to whoever it is that tracks these things. Well, it's GameX and other people and Gamma, but you don't care about that. So not surprisingly, the number one selling game in Q3 at the end of the year is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And the number one game being played online, not surprisingly, is also Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Dungeons & Dragons is holding steady at number one at 53.9% in sales and 59.6% in online games being played that are registering as Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Here's a surprise, though. Those numbers are down from Q2. Dungeons & Dragons has dropped almost 8%. And from this time last year in sales, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition has dropped almost 10% in sales. What does that mean? At the number two spot, it's uncategorized at 19.8% in sales and 14% in online games. What is uncategorized? That means every other role-playing game that isn't Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that is being run / purchased. So basically, percentage-wise, it comes above whatever is number three, but technically it doesn't count because that category is everybody else. So technically at number three still, well, number 2/3, depending upon how you want to read it, is Call of Cthulhu. Sales is holding steady at 11.87%. Sadly, games of Call of Cthulhu have dropped online being run to 7.55%. Apparently, people don't really want to play scary horror games when they can just walk outside and be embraced by the scary horror of the real world. So number one sales is Dungeons & Dragons. Number two sales is technically Call of Cthulhu. And number 3 or 2, depending upon how you want to read it, in sales is every other role-playing game currently on the market. So, now going down the uncategorized list, at number one spot is Pathfinder. Pathfinder is holding steady at 4% in sales and 4% in all online role-playing games being played. Number 2 is Warhammer. Any Warhammer game is number 2 uncategorized game being purchased at 1.44%, and online games being played 1.52%. That's every Warhammer product, both space and fantasy. Number 3 is World of Darkness. Number 4 is D&D 3.5. And strangely enough, jumping up to number 5 is a game you've probably never heard of. It's a Brazilian role-playing game called Tormenta. It has risen 45% from wherever it was before. And Vampire the Masquerade's World of Darkness has risen almost 500% since the last purchase. So World of Darkness has risen in percentages in sales and online games 550%. I don't know what that means, but it's pretty interesting that World of Darkness games have jumped so far in front, holding steady at number 4. Tormenta at number 6. 5. God, I need to learn how to read. Whatever. You don't care. So D&D 1, Call of Cthulhu 2, every other role-playing game ever 3, Number 1 role-playing game that isn't D&D or Call of Cthulhu being played is Pathfinder. Number 2 is Warhammer. Number 3 is World of Darkness, raising a 550%. D&D 3.5 is number 4. And at number 5 is Tormenta. The game that is being played the list is the RYBY tabletop system at 0.02% of sales and 0.2% of games being played online. Strangely missing from anywhere on this list is Tabletop Role-Playing Game of the Year. Alice is missing. There's probably a irony in there. Alice is missing. The Tabletop Role-Playing Game of the Year is not anywhere on the list. That means that between quarter 2 and quarter 3, not a single copy of Alice is Missing has been sold or played online. Make of that what you will. Congratulations, Dungeons & Dragons, for holding steady at number 1. Way to go, 5th edition. That should come as no surprise to anybody. What should come to a surprise to anybody is that it has dropped in percentage. And for Max over at Legion of Myth, he'd be happy to know that Earth Dawn is, where was it? I just saw it. 0.09%. So 0.009%. Congratulations, Earth Dawn. Not that that means anything. Make of that what you will. Speculate on why Dungeons & Dragons sales have dropped and why games like Tormenta and Vampire the Masquerade have shot up in percentage. That should be one to consider and speculate on. A Brazilian role-playing game has shot up in percentage of sales 45%, and the World of Darkness, of all things, has shot up 530% in sales since quarterly 2. What, if anything, does that mean? I leave that to your imagination. I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and general internet nonsense. If you appreciate listening to me not know how to read, let me know. If you never want to hear these numbers ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs, and we'll do something outrageous. I seriously doubt we're going to hit 1,000 by the end of the year, but it's still possible. Till next time, I will talk to you later. Enjoy the very weird Indian summer, and of course, as always, get off my land.